on, Todd. Yeah, I like how you're throwing up like the little pinkies up, right? Like your Snoop Dogg crip walking back in the day.
You know it. That's where I come from.
So we got a special guest here, and you might note that Rick is not here with me. So Rick is resting his ailing back. We did, like I was telling Todd, we did all deadlifts. So the story behind it, and you know deadlifts, if you do them right, they're deadly, right? Because they don't just like work a muscle group that you utilize that often. So when you use your hamstrings, if you're doing it right, there's going to be a little bit of back in there. No matter how good your form is, it's a closed chain exercise, so it goes right from your heels all the way up to the back of your neck. Would you agree?
For sure.
A deadlift. And so we did 8 exercises, right? We did 2 rounds, and I'm like, all right, great work, everybody. Clapping, and everybody's looking at me like they don't feel it, right? Because it's not a workout that you're going to feel. Like you're going to be, oh, man, I'm really sweating. That was a really hard work. You're not going to feel it because it's a technical exercise. But if you do it right, give it 2 days. So I was like, all right. I was like, everybody wants this? Let's go, right? Like, I'm like, let's do it. One more round. So we did a whole round of deadlifts, and like yesterday, and then I bounced it off with quads Tuesday. Yesterday, I was like, man, I couldn't even sleep, man. My quads were just throbbing. My hamstrings were at the peak yesterday, so now they're all like recovered. Today, I feel great, but like even just to touch my legs is like shooting pain. So my sympathies go out to Coach Rick right now, who's ailing that back. So, anyways, all the way from Massachusetts, we got Todd Selva. He's got a 16-year-old son. He's a spine surgery survivor, so I'd like to touch into that. I love this one. He hates when people make excuses or are lazy. He's a retired professional mixed martial artist, and he wouldn't be who he is today if he never started working out. Now, here's some professional stuff. He's been in the fitness industry for almost 20 years. He owns MVP Strength in Massachusetts, and he's passionate about biomechanics and injury rehab. He's a gifted mental strength influencer, and he learned to be a great coach from being taught by bad coaches. Guys, let's welcome Todd Selva.
Excited to be on the show with you.
Yes, and I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. So let's start with one thing. I want to know what gets you up in the morning. And the reason why I asked this question is because yesterday I worked till about, I started at 4 in the morning as usual, and then I left this gym at 6 p.m., right? And then it's like switching hats, right? So it's like 6 p.m., so I would go from running my gym, right? So with my team, doing the sessions, this and that, right? Take that hat off, and then I went right into gym coach to you guys, put that hat on for 2 hours, and then I went home and put my daddy hat on. You know what I mean? And so it's like, and then this morning I was like, you know what? I'm sleeping in. And it was interesting because we went to bed at 9. I was bagged by 12:30. And you have kids. You have
Yes.
16-year-old son? Okay, so you're well past these days. My 3-year-old wakes up in the middle of the night, and he's screaming. And I'm like, we sleep in different rooms, right? Like I go to bed before them, and I get up well before them, right? So I sleep in a different. But I put them to bed. Before we go to bed, we have a routine and whatever. And I was like, yeah, I gotta get out of bed and help her out, man. This is crazy. And I was looking forward to like a 10-hour sleep. Get up, and he's crying, and then my other son is like freaking out now, and so we're like both just holding these kids. And then this morning, I slept in till like 6:30. And sometimes you lay there, right? Like I think a lot of people go through this, right? Yeah. You lay there and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. So I want to know what gets you, what gets you up in the morning? What got you up this morning outside of this podcast?
Yeah, well, I've been looking forward to the podcast, but no, man, it's about, waking up every day with a purpose. It is for me, having a mission, having some goals and stuff. So for me, it's like wake up every morning to help people, man.
Yeah.
Talk about not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. Try it with 3 back injuries and 2 major spine surgeries. So, most people see me as like, oh, you're just this fit guy. You own a gym. It's easy for you. Nah, there's a little more to the story. But to answer your question, get up out of bed in the morning with a goal to change as many lives as I can as possible through health and fitness, man. I love it, and I'm very passionate about it, and it's just all about the people.
I think so. That's one thing that I worked on this morning was what's called a critical number, right? And a lot of business owners they focus on a couple things. So like right now, a lot of the people that are in the marketing business, all they're focusing on is lead generation, right? And then there's other business owners that focus on gross revenue, right? Like when we do things with you guys, we're like, hey, do you guys know your minimum run rate? Do you guys know your key performance indicators, right? And a lot of you guys look at us like deer in the headlights, right? It's like, and I remember the question I asked you, Todd, how much money do you need during this like pandemic, right? To keep everything alive, to keep your life as it is, and keep your team. And then we worked through that number. Then I said, okay, now how much money are you actually making, right? And then when you put those two kind of numbers together, you realize, hey, well, like, I don't need to really freak out. But so business owners focus on lead gen, they'll focus on gross revenue, or they'll focus on profits, right? That's kind of like, that's their goal, right? Now, really the goal, which is going to motivate you and your team to get out of bed, is not that money goal. Because if you've had a lot of money, then you'll realize that there's never enough amount of money that you can get, right? And then if you've had a lot of leads like you do, then you understand that you're never truly satisfied with how many leads you're getting through the door. But in the end, especially us for fitness, what is it that you're looking to have active members, right?
For
like
sure.
And how are you doing that? Through your, exactly what you said, you want to help people through fitness and mentality and all those good things that are going to help change and save people's lives. And so that critical number is huge, and so you knowing that that's what kind of like gets you up, right?
For sure. So it's funny you mentioned that, how some business owners, focus on just lead gen, or they direct their focus towards gross revenue numbers, all that. So all that kind of stuff for me, like I was a personal trainer for years in a big box gym, right? So I did management, I did sales, I did personal training, all that stuff, and it never really was my scene. Like I never really loved it. I always loved training people, but being put on the spot with the numbers and all that stuff always kind of stressed me out a little bit. So, I work a little bit differently in the way, my team, they don't care about how many leads we got or our processes on the back end or what we're saying to the people on the phone. They care about training people. So what I use as opposed to numbers is lives changed. That's how I put it in a perspective, and I do that with my team, and it works very well. So for me, it's about lives changed, and the numbers come with the lives changed. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense. So let's dive in, but I just want to take a moment. Jerome, who is that again? Oh, Diamond Wax Supplies. So as we all know, the big thing about right now is people just can't get like hand sanitizer and stuff to keep the cleanliness in and around their house. And so Diamond Wax is one of our members here, and they're currently open for business. It's good to contact them and find out what they do have available. But I think a lot of us just go to grocery stores and drugstores and like dollar stores looking for peroxide or rubbing alcohol or whatever it is. But these guys have like loads of this stuff. So if you're looking for them, the number's on the bottom of the screen, 943-3455, area code 204. So good morning, Cynthia, and we want to thank all of our guests for tuning in. So just to give you a briefing here, Todd is one of my coaching clients that has become a friend. He's an inspiring guy. He owns a gym out in Massachusetts. And so I want to go a little bit into your spinal surgery. So let's just go with like what happened. What was the first one?
Yeah, man. So it was a wrestling injury. I'm a little guy, 155 pounds, 5'5", and
is that what you weigh right now?
I weigh about 150 right now.
Oh, we're gonna have to have a pose down in this one. We're pretty much the same height and weight.
You'll win, but you probably wouldn't win the fight. It'd be my guess.
No. We'll see. We'll go see who gets dirty. You're technically trained. I'm dirty trained.
That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, we were kind of horsing around in practice. One day with a fellow teammate, bigger guy that's a few weight classes above me, and I had better technique on him. He was newer, and he just kind of muscled through something, and pop. That was it.
So what was that like, that pop? Was it like pop, oh, I think I did something, or was it pop, I'm down and out?
No, it's very interesting how it all came on because I knew it was like a neck crank thing.
Okay.
Okay. And I felt like the little pop, little discomfort, but I just kept going.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh,
fine.
okay. There we
Yeah,
go.
it didn't really affect me
Yeah.
at the time. And then days after I just started having sciatic pain like down my leg real bad and
Mm,
stuff. And that's
yeah.
when we started looking into it and figured out, I had MRI, you got a herniated disc, you need surgery.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yep.
So that kind of happened to me last Friday. Actually, was
Ah,
end of a work week. I usually take Thursdays. I usually take Tuesdays and Thursdays off from our early morning workouts, and then I usually like conduct the ones at 2:15. And I went into Friday's workout, and I was feeling good, right? Maybe took some pre-workout or whatever, and I did the 7 o'clock workout, and then I told one of my coaches, I said, "Hey, put together like a killer CrossFit routine. Like I don't train in CrossFit." So he had four
yep.
exercises: chin-ups, kettlebell swings, and as soon as he brought the 60s out, I'm like, dude, 60s? Really? I was like, okay, whatever, right? 60s, push press, and then it was like jump squats holding 35-pound dumbbells for 30
Mm.
seconds on with a 10
Oh
second
yeah, man.
recovery, right? And it sounds like a great workout, and I was doing kettlebell swings, so second round, and I was looking at my form in the mirror, and I was like, you're kind of over extending. I was like, you know what, just finish up these last two reps, even though they're like dirty reps, right? And all of a sudden, just a right in my back, it just went
Uh,
right. It felt like that, and I was like, oh no, and I felt it stiffen up. And that night, I was like, okay, just rest, recover. The weekend, same thing, took her easy. Monday was like, I was like, okay, it's not getting worse, right? And the key that I did there was I didn't push through it, right? Is that I was like, okay, no. Like, even though the boys were still, I had my shirt off and everything, and I was like, this is pathetic. Like, I was like embarrassed, right? I was like, man, I hurt myself in front of the boys, and I just started like doing some like light mobility stuff, and just rested the whole weekend. But the second level of that was that I didn't push through it, so that's number one. Number two is that I rested immediately, so I took like 24 hours to just completely do nothing, and then after that, I got mobile again, and like the recovery was it like I feel fine. I don't feel it at all, and it took me less than a week. But I guarantee you, if you would have rewound 10 years ago when I was 10 years younger, right? So I was in my 20s, that would have put me out probably for a week, at least like a solid week where I'd be like hunched over. But by Monday, I felt fine, and the reason why is because I still do mobility and flexibility, and like I'm on my supplements and my nutrition's on point. Rewind 10 years ago, there would be no supplements, like not the ones that I'm taking now. Like I would never take fish oils 10 years ago. What's the point if it's not dropping my
yeah.
body fat or building my muscle? I don't care, right?
Right,
Right.
right.
And so okay, that was spinal injury number one. So how did you,
Yeah.
what was like the recovery? What was the whole process? Were you like, they had to do a surgery, so you're probably bedridden for a while, or?
Yeah, I mean, for about a month, and it was brutal. It was brutal. But I remember thinking it was going to be worse than it is. But I'm also a guy that I feel like has a high tolerance. I mean, I like getting punched in the face. I have a higher tolerance for pain,
Okay.
and it's
Yeah.
we've all got a little bit of a bull loose, male and
Yeah, of
female
course.
fighters. It's
Yeah.
it's it's just a
You got
thing,
it. Yeah.
wakes you up, and lets you know you're in a fight, it lets you know what you're training for,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but anyways, it was a rough recovery, but I remember thinking at the time it's not as rough as I anticipated that first initial surgery.
Okay.
They put you on narcotics, that's a whole nother story. They put you
Yeah.
on opiates and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they have you rest for like a month. It's like I didn't train. I stayed out of work for a month. 4 weeks later, I was going back, like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
light like rehab with
Mm-hmm.
mobilizations and core strengthening and working on my pelvic tilt and all
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff.
Just
And
minor stuff. Just like,
yeah, little
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Swimming. You start with swimming,
Yeah.
walking in a pool. It's really rough.
Yeah.
You have a cane and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And did that stuff and brought myself back, but it was never the same ever again after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think it ever is. So would you say that was your first traumatic injury?
Um, First traumatic injury, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I had broken ankles and
okay.
stuff like that growing up
Yeah.
racing dirt bikes.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I would say that those are pretty traumatic as well. But I mean, everybody has their own like idea of what a traumatic injury is. Somebody like
Yeah.
somebody sprains a finger and it's like they don't know what to do, right? They see a little bit of blood, they pass
Yeah.
out, right? There's like
Oh, yeah.
I don't consider it a like life-changing injury, but last year I fractured my kneecap, right? And like
Oh,
every
yeah.
day like there's, good and bad days, right? Now it's warmer here, but it feels pretty thick. You know what I mean? Like it often feels like a balloon in there, and it's been over a year. And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people have to go through something traumatic like that so that you can grow, right? So like this back injury would have, like I said, it's a mind game thing too, right? And like your back, right, is the center of your body. It's like it's the core, right? And if you're doing anything lower body, it's connected to your core. If you're doing anything upper body, it's still connected to your core, right? Like go in, even just sit down and do bicep curls, you'll feel that in your core, right? Go lay on your back and do chest press, you'll feel that in your core. And so when I had this injury, or when something comes up in life for me, I'm like, dude, you've like the pain and agony you went through, like in that first 30 days of no sleep, just constant throbbing, can't even like sit down and use the toilet properly. You're having to adjust, and so scared. I remember being so scared when I would take the brace off, right, on my knee to go and take a shower. Like, I think if somebody had an injury like that, they just wouldn't bother. Because I remember getting up, and then sitting down and taking it off, and then having the bandage there, and then going in there, and it doesn't feel like it's a weird thing because the limb was there, but I felt like if like any little thing was just gonna like split it open again, right? And it's like, I don't want to go through that surgery. Like I don't want to go back to that. And so now anything I face, I'm just like kind of bring it on.
Yeah.
Like doesn't matter. I've been there, done that. So I feel people got to go through some severe type of pain, whether it's a mental warfare, or whether it's a physical, like a physical beatdown or something. You have to go through that, and then this way everything else is on the brighter side. That's kind of like this pandemic. If you can come out of this strong with your marriage, strong with your family, strong with your business, strong with your faith, and strong with your fitness, then you're going to come out of this like a super warrior, and the rest of your life is going to be like out. You know what I mean? Like just a great outlook. So did you have any lessons that you learned like through that first one? Because after that, the second one, like you had another one, but it's not like the first one, right?
No, it's not like the first one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the thing about me is I want to come back right away from that, like that injury. Like to me, like people go, other people like, oh no, like your life's over, your career's over, you're not going to be able to be a trainer, you're going to have to be disabled. And the doctors were basically telling me the same thing at the time, but in my own head, I'm like, yeah, no, it's not happening that way, So what I learned from the first one is to I took the 30 days, and before I went for my first post-op appointment, I was doing things like on my hands and knees installing carpet in the office and carrying the roll of carpet across the gym alone, And so looking back at things like that, know what I know now and being a little bit older and wiser, I think that had I took it a little bit slower and not done those things, that first initial original injury, maybe injury 2 and 3, and then surgery number 2 wouldn't have happened.
I think that plays right into what's going on right now. Is like take some time to work on a few things. So for guys like you and me, take a day to rest. And that's one thing that I've learned. Like today I didn't do the workout as much as I was on the Zoom, and I'm like, man, I want to do it. I'm going to go in, I'm going to work out. I'm like, no, RJ, just take the day off. You know what I mean? And I've slowly, we're probably the opposite. Like to pull us out of a workout, like even like Jen, she did, like to pull us out of a workout is harder than to get us into a workout. Cause I'd rather work out, right? I would rather do a 3 to 4 hour workout and then then do 3 to 4 hours of like computer work, right?
For sure.
Any
For
day.
sure.
Like if I can get up every day, I would power through the most sorest hamstrings, the stiffest of backs to do a workout. But that's one thing that the lesson I learned through that traumatic experience was that you need to take the time and be a little bit more, just slow it down. There's times where you and I have worked through things. I'm like, Todd, like, you want to wait till tomorrow to do this, right? And that's me saying, because like the normal person in me is like, let's do it here and now. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it tomorrow, right? Like it can wait till I've already put in a 12, 14-hour day. Another hour isn't, because it's going to be rinse and repeat tomorrow. So what do you think? What are some lessons that the like a person, maybe not athletes, but what about somebody that just like your clients? What are some of the things that you're telling your clients to really embrace outside of just doing the workouts?
Yeah, so I mean, outside of just doing the workouts, I'm like, I've got a lot of people that are at home, working from home, and or unfortunately laid off or unemployed right now. But it's like, it's the little things like, hey, don't get stir crazy, get outside. When the sun's out, get out, go for a walk with the dog, go for a run. Do your workout outside. We're doing, like you guys are doing, the virtual workouts. We're doing online workouts and stuff. So it's like, get outside, do a workout outside, and then, just think outside the box and try to take the positive out of every situation. So like, if I put myself in their shoes, the positive I'm going to take out of this situation is when the gyms do reopen and I go back in and work out, I know that I'm capable of working out at home without a gym, without any equipment, or maybe just a set of dumbbells. A lot of our workouts are like that anyways. We do a lot of workouts with a straight Olympic bar and heavy weights and stuff like that. But it's like, I like to think I'm a pretty strong guy. After 155 pounds, I deadlift 335 after major spine injuries, surgeries and stuff. So it's like, I do a lot of these workouts, so we're doing at home with like 10-pound dumbbells, 15-pound dumbbells, and that's it. And I'm burning and sweating from head to toe. So it's like, you don't need fancy gym, fancy equipment. So my hope for these people and the things I'm telling them is, going forward, now you have the option to do your training in the gym. You can't make it to the gym for a day. You have absolutely no excuses to not go home or set up and do a home workout and be held accountable.
And I think that's one skill that a lot of people are going to be able to come out of this, because it takes a lot of mental motivation, right? Like I made a post today on my page and I asked, like, who hasn't worked out? And a lot of people, obviously, they don't want to admit that, right? I had a couple people comment, some people, and one guy was open and honest. He's like, I'm working 10 to 12 hours, and to be honest with you, I'm just not motivated. And I get it, right? And the one thing that I would say is, find a way to make it work, because if you can come out of this, and I don't want to work out at home, Todd. You know what I mean? Like, literally, I have equipment at my house. I do have, I would love to get a cable machine just to do some small stuff, but I'm not working out as hard. I don't work out as hard as at home as I would here by myself, and I don't work out as hard as by myself as I do with, like, when I'm doing a session, right? When there's people around me, when I'm on the camera. Yesterday I did a workout, and I couldn't even move. Like, I was jumping around dancing because I'm so sore. But I'm like, the camera's on, people are working out, they're watching you. Get to work, right? And you could I had my hat down, right? Like, put my hat down. I don't say a word because I'm like just getting to work, right? And if people can really survive out of this and pick up some really good habits, then you're just going to be, everything is going to be so easy, right? So the people that already work out lots, like we have a lot of clients. Some of them, I said, hey, how many people haven't missed a workout yet? So we do 12 workouts a week, which is a lot, right? Like I do probably 6, 7 now, and I'm sore, right? Like my body is sore. And now we're doing like the step challenge, which is now I did 18,000 steps. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't think that those things are adding up, but by me, so I normally get around 9,000. I aim for 10, and now that I'm up to like on average 13,000, I'm burning 400 extra more calories. And yesterday I made the mistake of like I do normally do my fasting, and I was like, man, I'm hungry, and I started eating after 8. Sure enough, I was up at 1 o'clock. Not only leg pain, but also like I could feel all that food was metabolized. But the people that are people that are not working out, that haven't worked out, and they just lack motivation and need the gym, it's going to be a real tough time getting you back into society and getting back into the gym, right? So I'm fearful for people that are like that. My recommendation is, like, if you're not in our group, so members that aren't in the group, get in the group. It's not costing you anything, right? Really. And for everybody else, we're doing a 14-day free. I think you're doing the same thing. You're doing 21 days or 14 days?
21 days,
yeah. You're doing the 21 days free. Similar concept. And, like, get on it, right? Get involved with the group. Number 2, the people that are already working out lots, is that doing another workout isn't going to get you closer to your goals if you're counterbalancing with poor nutrition. Like, wouldn't you agree? You have to work out. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know what your model is. Some people say it's 80% diet, 20% working out. Because look, you only work out 30. You only work out 30 minutes of 24 hours a day. But it's like, yeah, but you're not eating all day too. Like, you're sleeping for a good portion of that, and like that's contributing. And how much time are you spending on your mobility, flexibility? How much water and nutrition and supplements and working out? Like, they all go hand in hand. But you have to work out. Like, you can't just diet. I guess it depends on the person's goal, right? Like, I see a lot of people that I follow, some yoga people, and I see that the yoga people, they're thin, but there's just no shape, right? Like, I like muscle.
Yeah, so I think you hit the nail on the head. It depends on the person's goals. But here's my thing, right? You can nutrition, yoga, and not to dog yoga or anything. I think you can build some core strength and some crazy flexibility, obviously, doing yoga. I feel like yoga to me is more, it's like a calming, relaxation, almost borderline meditation mindset type thing, and how to relax and lengthen your muscles. That's great, but what are you doing for strength? At the end of the day, everyone, Todd, what's your goal? My goal, right? My goal is to be standing upright at 80 years old, taking care of myself, mowing my lawn, bringing in my own groceries, not in a hospital having somebody else wipe my butt for me, taking care of me.
Yeah, and that's got to be everybody's long-term goal. Like, if you see somebody walking around, they could be really young, right? Like, you see an older person, we'll say, and they look like they're 70 or 80, but they're probably in their 60s, right? And it's like, man, I know people that are 60. Like, being in the gym business, you have clients that are 60, and you're like, wow, you're 60? Like, I didn't ever thought 60 would be like that, right? And so I want to be. I remember there's this one guy at my old gym. I was 23, 24, 25, and he must have been at least 45 to 48, and he looked like you. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, that's that Italian guy. That's what I want to look like. You know, when I get there, right? And now it's like I am that guy, right? I'm 37. I'm not young. I'm not old. I feel like I'm right in the middle. So the young cats can look at me, and then the old guys, oh, you're still young. But it's like, yeah, but soon, like, you said that to me 10 years ago, right? Like, wait till you get to your 30. Wait till you get to your mid 30s, and wait till you get to 40. It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm in amazing shape right now, right?
Yeah.
So my recommendation, to go back to this, is people that are working out lots, and you don't have a problem making working out a part of your daily life. I think it's now we start to tackle some of those other elements. The toughest element is obviously nutrition, but let me ask you this: what is you got a client like this? Okay, so this is the majority of our viewers are like this, and I just want to say good morning to Caroline, Cynthia, Blessing, and Caroline, Blessing, and probably Mimi is generally on. And how would you tell them to start? So they have no real nutrition right now, okay? And I'm not saying they eat poorly, but I'm not saying that they're eating, just chicken breast and broccoli. So somebody's working out, they're doing 12 workouts a week, which is lots, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the first nutritional advice that you personally would give to them?
So I personally ask them, are you eating, let's start, with basics. Are you eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day?
Mm-hmm.
We start there. So my first advice is, if you're not, we're going to make you understand a little bit of macros, and we're going to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's a good start, I find, for most people.
So
most
3
people
meals?
are nutrient deficient. Yeah, I mean, that's That's our motto on it. I
Yep.
work with a nutritionist and a registered
Yeah.
dietitian, and we
There's no
come
right
up
or
with
wrong way to eat, man.
yeah, I mean, so for me, it's like baby steps for most people. Nutrition being the hardest, most difficult, challenging thing
Mm-hmm.
that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry, I got a glitch in my screen here. But being the most challenging thing for people, I feel like to do, it's like sometimes baby steps. It's not as overwhelming, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so you skip breakfast every day, you go to work,
Yeah.
and then you overeat at lunch, and then you go home, you overeat at dinner, and
Dinner.
then you wonder why you have like a sweet tooth and you're snacking on
Yeah.
sugary stuff and salty stuff all night. So
Yeah.
let's try to eliminate the snacking at night, and
Yeah.
let's try to just add breakfast,
Yeah.
and then let's check in a week later, 2 weeks later, how's it going?
Okay. So you would sit down with that with your client. So this is a client that's maybe been with you for 6 or more months, and they're like your alpha dogs, like I always call them. And so you would sit down and hey RJ, okay, I want to know first things first. Are you eating three square meals? Right. That's number one. Then and then number two is is there any like specifics? Like so what if they say yeah I'm eating 3 meals a day? What's the next step? Let's work through this. Let's help our clients.
Yep. So yeah, we got the 3 meals.
Yep.
What's on your plate now? You know what
Okay.
I mean? So do we understand that we need protein? Do we understand that we need some good complex carbs and some good healthy fats? And then where are we getting those sources from?
Okay. So give me an example of what you would like to see on somebody's plate for. Let's go with breakfast because my breakfast is always lunch. I honestly my first meal is a protein shake with caffeine in it, and that's been my pre-workout. I'm at today. I'm like, I got to take it earlier because of the fact that like it runs like I don't know. I'm super caffeine sensitive, so I'm still wired at 8.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I got to have it probably at noon, right? Okay. So what is a complete breakfast look like to you? And I just want to say good morning to Tina, and good morning, Blessing. She says that she eats 3 meals. So go ahead. What's a full breakfast look like to Todd?
Yeah, so say for like my breakfast, you're looking at 3 eggs,
okay,
and then you're looking at a bowl of fruit, or you're looking at 3 eggs.
Yep.
I do the grain thing and all that, so you're looking at some oats.
Okay, so that's for your Mrs. Jones, right? You ever heard that term, Mrs. Jones? Okay, so our clients,
for years.
Yeah, I actually call our clients Mrs. Robinson. Right, because I always see the Mrs. Jones as your entry level client, 40ish, and hasn't worked out really. Maybe did some step aerobics back in the day. Maybe had a big box gym but never really used it. So those are and has no like idea of what nutrition is. That's my Mrs. Jones. Now my Mrs. Robinson, that the sexy mistress kind of thing, right? Is I feel like that's our clients. I don't know if you have clients like that, but our clients go from Mrs. Jones to Mrs. Robinson fairly quickly, right? So they're a little bit more advanced. They're probably burning in and around, I would say on average 20. What do you think, Jen? How many calories are kind of like beast mode kind of clients? 2,200? Jen is like 3,000, but this chick does not stop. So you haven't met Jen yet. She doesn't. Yesterday, actually, I'm super proud of her because she took the day off, and then she listened to her body when she started to get like these sharp tingling feelings in her arm. She's like, okay, I need to like because the thing is that she came and she proxied for Rick on Wednesday, and so that was like a workout that she pushed through, and then she tried to push through the rest of the day, and her body just said, we're not doing this, and she took it off, which was a very smart thing to do. So let's say about 2,200 calories, right? 2,000, sorry, 2,000. Yeah, so 2,000 calories. So what is that? Are you still doing 3 eggs and a bowl of fruit? Like, let's get specific in here. Because our clients are nuts with this, man. If you tell them to go and track this in MyFitnessPal, they're going to do it.
Yeah, so, breakfast right there. I'd go with that. And then we're looking at lunchtime, and it depends on if you're hungry in between or not. There's a million different ways I feel I've been told about going about nutrition.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, some people's beliefs is I'm all about like quality food.
Okay.
And not like processed stuff. I'll do some breakfast sometimes. I'll have toast in the morning.
Yep.
With it. I'm not afraid to eat a little bread. I'm not eating things like starchy, like pasta and stuff like that. I did grow up Italian. Grew up on,
I didn't know that.
fettuccine and meatballs and you name it.
Hey,
man.
so are you the meatball in the family?
I am. I'm the meatball and I'm the outcast.
Okay, so sorry to go there. I was watching these two brothers. So one is the governor of, I guess, New York. Do you know them? Like Choma. The two brothers. Have you ever watched their stuff?
Yeah, I've seen some of it.
Yeah, so the one brother is part of CNN, and the other brother is the governor, and these guys have just a flat-out conversation like this, and they're just kind of like slowly grilling each other, and they just roll with it, and I love it. And he's like, yeah, my brother's the meatball, and there's always a meatball in the family, and that's a good thing to be the meatball. So what is a meatball first? And sorry to go off a little bit tangent, but I have to know, what is a meatball?
Right. That's fine.
Yeah.
What meatball in the family? I mean, hey, you can say my cousin Pete is probably also, but it's like my sister. Here you go, perfect. Okay. My sister was an A student, honor roll, National Honor Society, captain of captain of the gymnastics team. Yeah. Growing up, she's a high school principal out in Oregon at a private
model American. She's a model American.
Yeah. And then there's me. I mean, I'm MMA fighter.
You're in the basement with bricks right now, with a punching bag behind you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the meatball. That's the meatball in the family. Yeah.
So when I have Italian friends, I could call them a meatball.
There you go.
All right, so we got some audience engagement here. So Blessing says that she always eats oatmeal with pitted dates, scrambled eggs with avocado, cheese, plain yogurt, frozen berries. Is that Todd approved?
Sure.
I love that one.
Sure.
That's a great.
Yeah, I don't do the yogurt personally, and I tend to try to stay away from cheese a little more. Honestly, you want to know what my thing is? What? The first time I read somewhere that cheese reduces your testosterone level.
Oh yeah.
Done.
Oh yeah.
Done. Don't know if it's true or not. Could be a total myth. But heard it from some nutrition thing. Yeah. I'm like, cheese isn't good for you anyways. But
what's your take on soy?
Soy
for males.
Here's my thing.
Soy for men.
Right. I have a lot of food allergies, and I'm allergic to soy, so I couldn't do it anyways personally. But my thing is with the soy is it's just very heavily processed. So being a person who's focused on like natural foods,
right.
That's a tough one for me. That's a tough one for me.
That's very interesting. I don't know much about soy, to be honest with you. I haven't done a ton of research on the vegan. I kind of get the concept, but we've had vegans and they say that it's a different type of soy. It's fermented or something like that. So it doesn't. So what I was getting is for years, and you're probably in the same boat. I think we're around the same age. If you were consuming any type of soy protein, you were going to get estrogen. Like that was like the big thing. That was kind of the gist. And now they're kind of like proving, like they're going against it, saying that it's a phytoestrogen or something like that. So I don't know. I guess that's probably not the conversation for you and I to have. So let's keep going with this. What does a lunch look like to you? Like what would you tell your client, or what is your lunch first, and then what would you tell like our client Blessing here that's eating the oatmeal with the pitted dates, scrambled eggs?
Okay, I mean, what are her goals, or could we?
Okay, so generalized goal. It's they want to lose some weight, they want to drop body fat, and they want to fit those skinny jeans, right?
Yeah. So lunch I'm looking at chicken and mixed vegetables, or chicken and some greens.
Yeah. So give me an example.
Are cooked in.
So cup of vegetables, 2 cups. Let's get specific here. We're making everybody meal plans right now. So
Oh, awesome.
So give me an example.
So a cup and a half mixed greens or mixed vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 12-ounce chicken breast.
12 ounces.
12 ounce.
Wow. Yeah, I think we normally did 4. Jen, how many ounces of chicken breast do you?
6.
So you're telling 12 ounces for people. That's about 60 grams of protein.
Yeah, that's what I eat. That's what clients on average with weight loss go. So it's a Todd lunch look like. So maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah.
But my clients usually a 6-ounce chicken breast.
Yeah.
Mixed vegetables.
Yeah.
whatever. We have several different options. Some are doing beef. We have vegans
Yeah.
and vegetarians that are doing some of the soy stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of lentils and
Yeah.
beans and stuff like that.
I find with the vegan plan, it's impossible to hit high protein, high fat.
Tough,
Like
very tough.
It's high carbs, and I actually want to test that theory and do a 3-week study on myself where we just eat, where I track my food and I change up the macros where I'm consuming 50% carbohydrates 1 week, 50% protein,
Yep.
50% fats, and just see how my mental game is, right? Like, what is my
Yeah.
physical performance, and then what does my physique look like? So I'll do that next week. So Neri, if you're listening, which I know she isn't, Neri, if you're listening, that's my wife. Excuse me. Can you please make my meal plan next week 50% carbs? And I'm going to do it clean. Like, I'm not going to, today I had and this is actually something I want to ask you about. So today I have my meal plan, right? My meal prep. So I have chicken thighs, and I love green beans and snap peas. So like, I've got two containers of protein shake. That's what I brought. And in the back of the corner, I saw a nice little Tupperware of macaroni and cheese. So that's kind of like what, you know what I mean? Like, the way I eat is I always eat a clean protein. I always eat a vegetable, and then I just throw in, like, if you look at my plate, so if a plate is 100%, then it would be about 30 to 40% of that plate is going to be some type of meat. And then 50 to 60% of that plate is going to be a green. And then anywhere from 10 to 20% is a starch. And so for me, if it's only 10% of my nutrition, right? So I'm eating 90% clean, and 10 to 20%, depending on what my goal is at the time, it's going to be something dirty, right? Like, I'll often I'll just eat my food, my chicken breast and broccoli, if it's that kind of day, and then I'm balancing it off with 200 calories of chips. You know what I mean, right? Or I'm gonna eat a thing of ice cream. Like, that's just what's happening, right?
Yeah,
or
you're better than me, man. You're better than me, man. For me, it's I think I don't know how many photos on my phone that I've sent people of pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I don't know if you guys have Ben and Jerry's out there.
Oh yeah, Ben and Jerry's. Yeah.
Love
the Ben and
so
Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry,
Cookie
right
dough's
to
my
the
favorite.
face. Right to the face, one sitting, done. 1,200 calories.
So
down.
do you just like somehow like is it because you're distracted eating? Like, how? So that when's the last time you had some Ben and Jerry's? Let's get real here.
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Okay, yeah. So
Saturday
when
or
you're
Sunday.
eating that, were you working? Were you watching TV, or what was the whole what was the environment of you? Why did you eat the whole thing?
Just chilling in the living room, watching TV, vegging out, being lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And was it a cheat meal or was it a cheat day?
That was a cheat meal.
Was Saturday a cheat meal? So you had the Ben and Jerry's and that was it, or was it a cheat day? It's like the Ben and Jerry's, which turned into the Doritos.
I just do a meal.
Okay.
I'll just do a meal. It's that my sugary things, my dirty stuff, if you will, is just that. It's Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and it's oddly black licorice.
Oh, really? I love black licorice.
Yeah.
Tiger was one of my favorite ice creams coming up, but I wouldn't go out and buy one. It's going to be a cookie dough. Like, I love just dough. Like Neri's bars, my wife, she makes these protein bars, and the hardest thing for me was to just not eat the whole dozen when she makes them, right? So like yesterday she made one, I had a half, right? And I was like, man, this is pretty good, right? And so what I've been doing was I'll go and eat 4 or 5 Neri's bars, but then I would go buy sugar-free ice cream and just chop it up and throw it in there, right? So it's like there's ways you can cheat and still pleasure the senses without actually going to the Ben and Jerry's. But unless you're like, you know what, It's been 5 days, I've been absolutely clean, I've been crushing it. You know, yesterday Hugo made a great statement. I live my life like this. It's like, earn your reward, right? Earn it first.
Yeah.
Then get it, right? And so it's like, if you did 5 days, you've been absolutely on it, boom, go ahead. Have that Haagen-Dazs, have that Ben and Jerry's, whatever it is, right? Or like I do, the 90-10 rule, right? When I'm really shredding, is 90% of my nutrition is going to be phenomenal, and 10% is just, don't judge me. You know what I mean? You don't know what I did today. So if I post on Instagram that I'm doing this, I'll also post. And that's one thing as trainers is our lives are through the microscope, right? Like if we're up 2% body fat, people know it, right? And if you post a picture of you eating Haagen-Dazs, you better post 2 pictures of you eating broccoli, right? Because otherwise, all they see is that Haagen-Dazs. So, okay, let's keep going with this. And you got a little bit more time, Todd. Can we go till
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess 11:15
absolutely.
your time? I know we got to get to work.
Sure.
We all got to get to work.
Yeah,
We'll go
until noon.
Okay, perfect. We'll go to 11:15. I don't like to go that much longer. So dinner, what's a dinner looking like for Todd?
Yeah, so generally I'm going with chicken or beef, lean cut of beef, and I'll use a sweet potato. I'll have a sweet potato, and then I'll go back again to the mixed vegetables.
Okay, sweet potato. And okay, and then same thing with your clients, I guess, just smaller portions, right?
Generally, yeah. And we have a lot of people that we're having stay away from the starches. We're finding is working.
Yeah.
So it's more like meat and vegetables. It's more like seafood, vegetables, chicken, vegetables.
Yeah.
That seems to work very well.
Shrimp is something
I've been eating a lot of shrimp.
Oh my gosh, is that good?
I had shrimp last night. I mean, it's usually on sale. I don't know. Yeah,
you can get it frozen. You could get it frozen, right? Like, or you went and got the good stuff. But I mean, you can just go to a grocery store and grab a couple of bags of shrimp. Well, everybody's fighting for the red meat and all this and that. Go grab some shrimp, man. It's super high in protein, right?
Oh, I love it.
It tastes phenomenal. Just a little bit of butter, right? Like, you're good to go.
Yep.
Okay, so I like that. We got some audience engagement here. So Cynthia is one of our awesome members, and I haven't seen Cynthia's face in a very long time. She usually posts these like awesome videos, and it's funny because people that post stuff on Instagram or in our groups, right? Like I'm sure you have that going with your group. How creative they can get. Like we actually have a couple, and they went and created a YouTube video because they're always doing these like leg pressing the dog, right? Or like couple push-up workouts, or you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And so I want to challenge our group. Was that a beer? No, I'm just kidding. What was that? What were you drinking? It looked like a Budweiser.
We didn't get into that conversation yet. We didn't get into that yet. It's a seltzer. Seltzer. I drink so much water that I get bored with it, and just having the carbonation,
fizz, or some kind of even flavoring. I get you. I got it. Trust me. Yesterday I had a Zevia before bed. I don't know if you know what Zevias are. Stevia. It's a cream soda. So they sell them here at the grocery store fairly cheap. It's a 100% stevia sweetened, like carbonated beverage, and it tastes like cream soda. I had one right before bed. I was like, I'm having this. It was 9 p.m. and I'm sitting in my bed. And I'm just like relaxing and drinking the Zevia. I was like, oh, this is probably what it's like, what beer is to everybody. So
that's great.
So so Cynthia says, did I already read this? Todd, you're an inspiration. So Todd, you're an inspiration. Your mental and physical strength of perseverance in the family and exceptional emotional intelligence has overcome your life's challenges. Keep shining your light. And actually, Cynthia's Italian. Okay. She's like, meatball, you're funny. So
yeah, that's great. I love it, man. Thanks, Cynthia.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what are some of the your clients right now? Right, like you're in the States.
Yep.
You guys are affected by this coronavirus more than us, right? Like in Manitoba, I believe we have like between 250 and 260 cases so far. And so first of all, do you know how many cases of people contracted the coronavirus in Massachusetts?
Yeah, it's something crazy, like 36,000 or
what? And they're talking about opening up your gyms?
We're a very no, not in our state. Okay. We're a very small state. If you look at the United States on the map, we are this tiny little state over there. And then to make matters even worse, well, maybe it's better for us because we don't have as high of a population. But if you look at the state of Mass, we are Western Mass, which is like, I mean, my city has 42,000 people in it.
Okay.
So people here in Massachusetts, Boston's the capital, Boston Red Sox, Boston Bruins, right. That's the opposite end of the state, eastern part of the state from us.
Okay. So that to give us some perspective, you're like in and around the New York area.
Precisely. We're
Yeah.
right near the New York state border. I can hit the line in about 12 minutes from where
And
I'm
New
at.
York got affected by it pretty badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up, buddy.
Okay.
They cleaned it up,
Yeah.
and they are reopening stuff, and they actually donated a ton of the I'm not real educated on it, but the respirators and
Okay.
the medical
Yeah.
equipment. My girlfriend's an RN. I should know this, but
Okay.
the
Yeah.
they donated a bunch of the stuff to Massachusetts,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty awesome.
That's great. So yeah, like so it's stabilized out there, and now they're talking about
Yep.
opening some stuff, right? Like I figured that they would just shut New York down for a year, just to like
I know,
really
right?
clear things up. Because I was talking to my mom yesterday, and my mom's always got these like random facts of things, right? And so she was talking about the Spanish flu. I don't know much about it, but apparently they had something like this, and they threw a massive party, celebration, parade, all that, and within like a day or a week or whatever, it's just like it grew back to an epidemic kind of thing, right? So
Yep.
that's one of the problems. As much as we want to get open, we always also don't want to spread it, and I think that people just really just need to focus on, what, you'll get to work, don't worry, like things will
Yeah.
things will normalize. You'll forget all about this, just like everything else, right? Like you'll forget about it, and just enjoy the now. So I want to ask you,
Yeah.
what are some of the obstacles that your clients are facing, and how are you helping them to overcome that?
Yeah, man. Obstacles. I think it's just like a lot of others out there. Finances being the biggest one,
Yeah.
and then motivation. And then thinking outside the box, not being in the gym, not being with the group. Not having the community. Face to face. We're doing the best we can to do that virtually, and just keep them engaged, keep them positive, get
Yeah.
them thinking outside the box. So I'm really pushing like the mindset, motivation stuff right now, fighters mindset, and like don't quit, and like don't make excuses. And so we're bending over backwards to do that. And I think people's biggest struggle is just not having the gym, and this is just something new and different. So I actually threw up a video the other day about take the positive out of every situation.
Right.
So right now, take a situation like this. What I've done to take the positive out of it is I'm learning a lot about online training and virtual training right
Yeah.
now, as we go, and I'm learning from other people, but a lot of it just trial and error, we're learning. So this is something that I've taken the time, and I've realized what I'm doing now with the clients, and then the new online clients that come in who have never been into my facility.
Yeah.
This is something that overall is going to make the program better. So when we go back into the facility and reopen, a lot of these processes and procedures that we're doing now, a little more individualized, so you have like group but still individualization, is going to make the program much better for the members, for the clients.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's just pivot your life, whatever it is that you're doing in your journey, and then just like go all in with it, right? And I love, and I'm still to find another industry, okay? And I would group all of us, yoga, Zumba, all that kind of stuff, like working out at the gym. Is that what other industry out there is providing mindset and motivation? Outside of motivational speakers, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, I don't have my bank sending me an email like, "Hey, RJ, you got this. We're here to support you." Like, they're just giving me updates of what's going on with COVID, right? And yet, I spend more money with my mortgage than my clients are spending with me for their monthly subscription here with us, right? Like, and so it's like, what? I don't got a banker calling me and saying, the guy who lent me my mortgage, "Hey, how you doing, Todd?" Right? Like,
I know.
How's everything
right?
go? What I got was I got to call them and wait 3 hours to just get on the phone with somebody. And I'm not saying anything wrong, but it's interesting. So I'd like to know what other industry out there. I think teachers probably, right? They're trying to keep their students engaged. We're in a daycare. My son's in a daycare, so I don't know. We kind of like lost connection with the daycare. I'm not even sure what they're doing, but we haven't gotten any phone calls or anything. Whereas like, we're phone calling people, we're Zooming, we're So kudos to the fitness industry, not just me, not just you. I think the entire fitness industry for not going quiet and for providing people even just a small sense of relief, right? Like your Facebook page, my Facebook page is flooded with two things. It's either flooded with our members or it's flooded with other gym owners, right? So like yourself and like, right? And so all I see on Facebook is positivity. Like, somebody had a bad day. Somebody had a bad day. I don't see it because it's getting flooded with like with this. And I love that. That's how
positive
Facebook's algorithm is built out. So the big thing for you with your clients is just like the mental warfare. It's just like, flip that switch. Love
Absolutely. It. And it's at the end of the day, I feel like that's what it is for everybody. Like if you lack motivation or you like you talked about getting out of bed, you don't want to get up, like check your mindset. You know what I mean? Like, think about those things, and instead of coming up with like a big long list of like I can't, come up with like one good reason why you can. Type of deal,
and do that. Like legit, and it will make an impact. Right, so it's like right out, and also vocalize. Right, so today when I had the screaming headache, and I jumped out of bed, it was I said I have like a morning mantra that I say to myself, and then I was like, today is gonna be a great day. You know what I mean? And right before I go to bed, I was like, today was a great day. I say those two things, and it's when you vocalize it, it's a whole different thing. When you put it pen to paper, it's even a bigger statement. Right, so I do all three. It's number one, I say it in my mind. Number two is I say it vocally, and number three, I put pen to paper. And oftentimes, like on my Instagram, I post what is my daily, like what do I want to focus on today, and I'll put that out there, and just like there you go. Now the world sees it, right? And so when I do those posts on my Instagram, that's where my life is, man. Like that's what I'm going through, right? And so my hope is that they pick up on that and they grow out of it too. So Todd, any other words of advice to clients or anything else that you would want to share?
My advice is just to get up, get outside, enjoy the sun, enjoy the weather, do some workouts outside, and don't use this as an excuse to sit around, get lazy, and do nothing. This isn't a vacation. Life goes on. And if you're struggling with motivation or you're struggling with having consistent routine, you need to develop some sort of a schedule or something at home. Like, can't fit a workout in, that's BS. You can too. You know what I mean? Guys like me and RJ work like, especially right through this thing, working how many hours a day? Get a workout in. You got to get up an hour earlier to accomplish your goals for today. Get a workout in. Get up an hour earlier. If you got to work out at night, get outside of your comfort zone. Work out at night. Don't make excuses.
Boom. No excuses. Todd Selva, thank you, sir, for being on here. And we want to thank everybody for joining us on this podcast every morning. We're back tomorrow, 9:15. We have Chris Dim. Do you know who Chris Dim is?
I don't.
So Chris Dim is a fellow gym owner that I met through a mastermind that we were both in. We became good friends. He was a former Mr. Olympia, so he was on the same platform that Arnold was on. This guy was like jacked, right? And he's actually in a wheelchair now, so he's had spinal surgery. But even deeper than that, tomorrow we're going to go into his transition. So how he came from Cambodia to California. I believe he's in Sacramento now, and like he's seen people get shot, right? So it's you want to talk about traumatic, right? Like not only did he have a traumatic beginning from his childhood, but he also had a traumatic like spinal surgery where now he's in a full-time wheelchair. So tune in tomorrow, 9:15. I want to thank everybody. And Todd, you ready? Yeah.